I've always slept with the door closed. Not for security, not out of habit, but out of fear. A childish fear I never grew out of. You know, those things you can't explain but feel deep in your bones. Like a chill that runs down your back for no reason, or a silence that suddenly feels way too heavy. I was 8 years old when the whispers began. We lived in an old house, the kind that creaks even when no one moves. My parents worked nights, so I was alone until after midnight. A neighbor would check in, leave me dinner, and go home. It all started on a Tuesday. I was in my room drawing when I heard it, a soft whisper. So faint I thought it was a wind, but there was no wind that night. I checked the window. Nothing. I stepped into the hallway. Silence. I went back to my room. And the moment I crossed the door, I heard it again. Sure, here. I froze. It sounded like someone speaking from underneath the floor. I told myself it was just my imagination, so I crawled into bed, pulled the covers over my nose, and shut my eyes tight. But that wasn't all. That same night, I felt something move under the rug. Yeah, I know how it sounds, but I swear it happened. The rug was thick, old, and covered most of the wooden floor. It was heavy, really stuck to the ground, but I felt it rise slightly, like something was sliding beneath it. I didn't sleep that night, and the next day, I didn't say a word. Who was I going to tell? My dad would just say, "Men, don't get scared." And my mom would smile and ruffle my hair. The days passed, and every night the same thing. Whispers, movement under the rug. Sometimes I even heard claws, scraping the wooden boards from below. Almost there. It's so close. One night, I gathered my courage. I grabbed a flashlight, waited for the house to go quiet, and lifted the corner of the rug. Nothing. But just as I was about to let it go, I felt warm breath on my hand. I jumped back and screamed as loud as I could. No one came. My parents weren't due home until after midnight. When they finally arrived, I was curled up in the living room, shaking, unable to explain why I refused to go back into my room. Weeks went by. They made me sleep there anyway. They took me to a psychologist, said it was stress, nightmares, but I wasn't dreaming. I heard it every single night. Louder, clearer, open it, just a little. One day I had enough. I took a knife from the kitchen and waited. My plan was simple. If something came out of there, I'd fight it. That night was different. The whispers didn't start like usual. No, this time it was a thud. Heavy, dull, like something hit the floorboards from inside. And then laughter, high-pitched, slow, playful. I was standing there, knife in hand, when the rug began to move on its own. Like a giant snake was crawling underneath it. It slithered from one end of the room to the other, knocking over toys as it passed. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. Then I heard the voice, so clear, from right beneath my feet. Want to play hide and seek? The rug opened like a mouth. There's no other way to describe it. The corners curled up, the center sank in, forming a kind of pit. And from there, I saw eyes, not human, round, black as night. I ran, locked myself in the bathroom, and screamed until my parents came home. When they went into my room, the rug was perfectly still, nothing out of place. They didn't believe me, but that night, my dad said he'd sleep in my room, just to prove there was nothing there. The next morning, he was gone. The bed was untouched, the window locked, no sign of struggle. Just one thing was different, the rug. It looked a bit puffed up, like something heavy was underneath. My mom knelt down, touched it, and swore she felt a heartbeat. We moved out that same week. Sometimes, now as an adult, I wonder if it was all real. If something was actually living under that house. If it took my dad. But there's one thing I never tell anyone. Years later, I went back. I wanted to face my fears. See the house, empty, boarded up, and just as I turned to leave, a loose wooden board on the porch lifted slightly. Beneath it was a corner of the same rug, still moving. And if you listen closely, you could still hear the voice. Want to play again?